In Washington a few moments ago, President Obama announced that we had reached an agreement to formally reestablish diplomatic relations with the Republic of Cuba, and that we will reopen embassies in our respective countries. Later this summer, as the President announced, I will travel to Cuba to personally take part in the formal reopening of our United States Embassy in Havana. This will mark the resumption of embassy operations after a period of 54 years. It will also be the first visit by a Secretary of State to Cuba since 1945. The reopening of our embassy, I will tell you, is an important step on the road to restoring fully normal relations between the United States and Cuba. Coming a quarter of a century after the end of the Cold War, it recognizes the reality of the changed circumstances, and it will serve to meet a number of practical needs. The United States and Cuba continue to have sharp differences over democracy, human rights, and related issues, but we also have identified areas for cooperation that include law enforcement, safe transportation, emergency response, environmental protection, telecommunications, and migration. The resumption of full embassy activities will help us engage the Cuban government more often and at a higher level. And it will also allow our diplomats to interact more frequently and, frankly, more broadly and effectively with the Cuban people. In addition, we will better be able to assist Americans who travel to the island nation in order to visit family members or for other purposes. This transition, this moment of history, is taking place because President Obama made a personal, fundamental decision to change a policy that didn't work and that had been in place not working for far too long. I believe that's leadership, and I appreciate that leadership. And President Castro felt similarly that it was time for a change. Both leaders agreed that concentrating on the issues and possibilities of the future is far more productive than remaining mired in the past. And I would say, as we look at the world today, with conflicts that we see, and even these negotiations taking place here in Vienna, it is important for people to understand that things can change, that leadership can be effective and can make a difference. This step has been long overdue, and the response of the international community has reflected the relief and the welcoming that people all over the world feel for this step. This step will advance President Obama's vision of an Americas where responsibilities are widely shared and where countries combine their strengths to advance common interests and values. And we frankly also believe that this opening will help to change relationships in the region as a whole. I want to thank Assistant Secretary